Welcome to A Taste for Design. We're getting ready to throw a party out on a patio. Now for most people, a patio like this with a built-in grill and a pizza oven is only a dream. Well, what about you? What do you dream about for your outdoor space? Is it time for you to paint the exterior of your home or maybe fix up your patio? For most people, that's a scary thought because they don't want to hire the wrong contractor, they don't want to blow money they don't need to, or if they're painting the outside, maybe they're choosing the wrong color and the entire neighborhood is going to see your mistake. Well, today I'm going to take you to meet some experts in the field and they will tell you exactly what to look for and what to do. Then we're going to come back here and we're going to cook out on this grill and we're going to have a party on the patio. A Taste for Design incorporates food, wine, and home design. Traveling throughout New Jersey, visiting local businesses to bring you tastes of inspiration. As we continue to talk about outdoor spaces, I'd like to bring up talking about patios, walkways, and retaining walls. And today we're going to speak with Artie Paradise, who owns a Paradise landscape company out of Chatham, New Jersey. The first thing we have going is a patio with bluestone. Tell me, what's the first step in building a patio like this? How do you prep the surface first?
What we do is excavate, and we use the crushed stone and compact it with the vibrator plate. And then we level some dust and we start construction from the square part of the house and move outwards.
One of the concerns I would think would be drainage or...
Drainage is important because we won't want any pooling. Basically this is a flat surface, so we brought everything, pitched everything away from the house and away from the wall.
And then the wall, I notice, is low. It's not that high. How did you determine the height of the wall?
Well, basically, we wanted to use the wall for sitting. If the patio gets filled up with furniture, then we have somewhere to sit, have a beer, have a soda,
okay.
Actually even eat.
What is this material that you've used for this wall? What is that made out of, that stone?
It's actually colored concrete.
Really?
It's a segmented wall. There's 5 different sizes in that.
So how do you choose what size stone? Does it depend on the height?
There's different variations you could choose. I particularly like this style, and I chose it myself. It's 6-inch opposed to a 3-inch, which you can use, or you can mix them both together. This wall is basically not for retaining anything, it's just for aesthetics reasons.
Now speaking of retaining wall, I see we have some major boulders that have just been delivered. What are you going to use that for?
We're going to hold up that grade, prevent that from washing away. We built up the grade just for the privacy in the backyard. That's a little tedious because it's like putting together a puzzle.
I know for me, people have a hard time visualizing what a paint color would look like in their home. And so if I was building a brand new house like this with, you know, a blank canvas, where do you begin with coming up for a concept to do an exterior design like this?
Basically, we'll do a drawing, and from there, we got to choose the color of the stone. Whether if they want pavers, then we want to choose a different color pavers. Since we went with a blue stone, we had to find a neutral color with the blue stone. This is sandalwood, and it has a kind of a natural pastel color that matches the blue stone well.
So this home is a pretty new construction, and we're almost down to the end, but you'll notice it's lacking something: landscaping. In a couple days, we're going to have a landscaper come in and he's going to talk to us about landscaping. But what I'm here to do is to talk to the homeowners about paint. Now, this particular home is hardy plank, but the trim needs to be redone because there's a little bit of a spackly mess here that needs to be touched up. And so while we were talking, I asked the homeowners a question. When people come to this home, which door do they go to? Homes like this that have 2 doors in the front are a little confusing, and when I choose colors for the exterior of the home, the door is the focal point. You want to lead people to the front door. So in this particular home, that's an issue. Well, we're back a week later, and typical of New Jersey, we've gone from 50 degrees up to 80 degrees in a week. We've got the 17-year locusts humming away in the trees. But let's talk about the work that's been done. As I mentioned before, there's hardy plank on the house, but we did paint the trim and we've stained and painted the doors. Solution to the problem that we had was when people visited this house, they weren't quite sure which door to go to. Hopefully that's been solved. As you'll notice, we stained the front door darker, and above the door, up underneath, We've also painted a deep dark brown. It's actually an off black to match the stain. The other door we've painted white, so now it flows with the French doors and the windows of the house. However, we gave the railing an upgrade. It was white and it looked a little cheap, kind of like plastic. So now by painting the top rails a nice deep dark brown, it matches the dark stained wood of the front door, and we gave it a little bit of an upgrade. Now let's go meet the landscaper. Sal Scalora is the landscaper that's putting the plantings in this house. And one of the things that I like about Sal is he's hands-on. He doesn't just have a crew that he sends on to the job. Sal is actually here cutting the grass, doing the work himself. He's right here on the job. Tell me what you picked for this house and why.
Okay, what I picked for this house was basically deer-resistant stuff because there's a lot of deer around here. When there's a lot of deer like that, I put my colors in the plants.
Okay.
Like with the gold lace and the barberry, the red, the yellows, I incorporate the colors.
Okay.
Because you really can't plant flowers. I have the gold lace.
Those are the short ones that are kind of yellow?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have the Andromedas, which those get white bell flowers.
Okay.
And actually that's mountain fire, which has the red tips on the actual and the deer don't eat that. We have some golden spirea. We have a variegated spirea, a green spirea.
Okay. And what's the one with the little purple flowers on it?
That's catmint. And that actually helps, keeps deer away.
Oh, it does? Oh, they don't like that?
Deer do not like fragrance.
Oh, okay.
So that the catmint has fragrance
So
to
what about lavender?
You could also use lavender.
Okay, and they don't like
salvia, anything that has fragrance like that, they don't like. Everything that we have here is, you could take the sun, part sun, shade.
Okay, so they'd be okay in drought?
Well, usually the first year is really when you have to really water your shrubs until they root, and once they root, you have to water less.
Okay, so these plantings are going in today, so I'm assuming you're going to tell them to what, keep the sprinkler on and keep watering it for...
Two to three times a week, you know, at least for the whole summer.
Okay.
And then in the fall, when the temperature drops, maybe once a week.
Now, what else would homeowners need to know about putting plantings in? How far down should they be planted in the ground?
Like this house, we're going to add soil.
Okay.
Because it's new construction, they left it a little low.
Okay, so, and it's pretty rocky. We have a lot of clay around here, right? Yeah.
You want to have some space around the plant that you're planting.
Okay.
And putting new, fresh soil around it. But you want to make sure that whatever the root ball is, you don't want to go over the root ball. Okay. Because that'll choke the tree eventually and kill it.
Okay. All right. And you have to dig a hole big enough so that the roots have room to grow.
To expand.
And then you're going to cover with mulch?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of the mulch?
The mulch keeps the moisture in. And keeps the weeds out. Mulch is great. I mean, it looks good, but then it'll keep the moisture into the ground so the plants, they don't dry out as quick.
And what kind of mulch do you prefer?
There's black dye, which is the root mulch, but it's washed and dyed.
Is that what we have here today?
No, we're going to put brown. We're going to put root mulch we're putting down.
Okay.
That's natural and it's brown.
Okay.
But then, you know, if people like red, we get dye red.
Okay.
And dye black and dye brown.
So one of the things that Sal told me is that he specifically waits till after Mother's Day before you even purchase your plants. And why is that?
Because you don't want to buy leftover plants from last year. Okay. And this is all new stock that's been brought up.
Okay. And you mentioned also something about the soil. They'll bring it up from what, down south where the soil is different?
No. You don't want to buy anything that's grown in Maryland, south of here. Okay. Even Central Jersey is okay, but you don't want to buy anything from South Jersey because they get acclimated to the weather that they grow in.
Oh, okay.
So if you bring up a plant from down south, they won't make it through the winter.
Painting the outside of your home. It's a huge expense and it's very scary to most homeowners. They don't want to make a mistake choosing colors and they want to choose the right contractor. The first thing I would say is to see a color specialist. Go visit your local paint dealer and see if they have someone in the store that can help you choose the color, and that will help to relieve some of that tension. The next thing you want to do is find the right contractor. You know that guy that you have to wait a few months for because he's so busy? That's the guy you want. Today we're going to talk to Jerry Alaco. He's one of my first recommendations for a painter. One of the things that I like about Jerry is when you hire Jerry to come and paint, he doesn't just send a crew, he's actually here doing the job. So Jerry, what's the first step in painting the exterior of your home?
Well, the first thing we look for when we get to the house is to see if there's any peeling, you know, how severe that peeling is.
Right.
And on this house, there really is not that much peeling. So what we're going to do, and what we're doing right now, is palm sanding the entire house just to rough up the surface a little bit so it accepts the primer and really grabs it.
One of the questions that people will ask is what finish they should be using on the exterior. What do you usually recommend?
On the body of the house, we use it's basically a flat paint, which is, we use Morguard, Benjamin Moore Morguard. I would say 99.9% of the time that's what we use.
Okay, and on the trim?
And on the trim we use the semi-gloss, the Aqua Glow.
And you did this house actually when, about 7, 8 years ago?
7, 8 years, I almost say 8 years ago. We stripped this entire house.
You stripped it down to the bare wood.
Okay. And we put the oil-based primer on it. And we put 2 finish coats on it, white. And it's lasted,
that's why
it's
not
lasted
really
all these
chipping.
years, not chipping at all. And we got
because it was prepped properly.
That's
so
the key.
That's
the key to the whole job is what's underneath it,
right.
not what you put on top. You know, a lot of people want to save money by just putting a finished coat on the house, and yet you're not prepping the house properly.
And there we go. That's we're getting to the key. Another problem that I've seen arise in the past couple of years is mold. I'm just curious, if we used more of an eggshell type of a finish, does that help or no?
I don't think so, because most of the products now have a mildew resistant in them. You know, it resists the mildew with the paint product, no matter what you put on there. Once we're done sanding this house, we're going to power wash it using a Clorox Jomax solution, which we use out of a lawn sprayer. We wet the house, pump spray the entire house with this Jomax.
And that kills the mold.
It kills it. I mean, it kills it on contact. Before you put the blaster on it, the mildew is dripping off the house.
Well, Jerry, thank you so much for
Thank
educating
you.
us today.
Thank you, Cindy.
It's a pleasure to have you. When people come to me to choose colors for the exterior, I'm going to ask them a couple questions. The first thing I want to know is what style of house. Do you have a colonial 2-story, or do you have a bi-level, split-level, ranch, or a cape? Is it 1.5 stories? My goal for a short house that is 1 story is to make it look taller. So I'm going to do the opposite of what most people think. Most people think if they paint the house white, they're going to make it look bigger. Not true. What you're actually doing is splitting the house in half. You have a white level and a roof level. If you paint the house to look closer to the color of the roof, you actually double the size of the house and make it look taller. Now, a colonial has different issues. Colonials are already tall, but many times they just look like a big square box and they're pretty boring. So we might try to break it up with colors on the shutter. Sometimes they have dental molding on the top. We want to bring that out. We want to pop it with a little bit of color. My favorite look is to do neutral tone on the house with the shutters, and then that pop of color on the door. So let's talk color. One of the top colors that is one of the big favorites is this one. It's called Briarwood. Briarwood, great choice. Love that one with black shutters, either a black door or a red door. I will suggest that the best thing to do is go to your local Benjamin Moore dealer and talk to the color consultant there and let them help you. That's what we're here for. Now, what do you do if you're stuck with an outdoor space that looks like this? You paint it like this. Now, obviously, the average person can't paint a mural like this. You would hire someone to do it, like I was hired to do this last year in October of 2012. It took me a couple of weeks to get this done, and I had to hurry and finish before Hurricane Sandy hit. I was hired to do this mural in an outdoor space at a restaurant to give diners a nicer view, and was asked to paint vineyards in Tuscany. Now here's how I did it. We had to rent a scaffold, and I started on the right side, working top to bottom. I started from the sky down to the mountains, down to the grass. Then we had to move the entire scaffold over to the left side and again work top to bottom. So I had to remember what colors I used and remember exactly how I painted the mountains and the grass so that I could mirror it all on the left side. The thing everyone asked me about is the paint. What kind did I use and what happens when it rains? Well, you use exterior paint that you would use to paint the outside of your home. I used all exterior paint by Benjamin Moore. We're here on this patio and I'm smelling the food coming from the restaurant. I'm getting pretty hungry. So we're gonna take a walk across the street to Barth's Market. We're gonna pick up some meat and then we're going to go to another outdoor patio space and we're gonna learn how to grill. Finished talking about how to fix up your outdoor space. Now it's time to party. We need to cook on the grill, and I've invited Rob and Charles from Ribdiculous to come and cook on the grill for us. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Cindy. How you doing?
Tell me a little bit about your business and what you do.
Well, Cindy, Charlie and I basically what we do is a private chef catering service. We come to your house and we prepare fresh food. We cook at your house, do all the prep work there. Clean up, take everything with us, and basically try to provide the freshest possible food. We do some more white glove service on the side as far as if you want a New York restaurant experience in your house. We come in, we do dinner parties, outdoor parties. If you have something in the park and you just want food delivered or brought out, we can handle that as well. Basically, the sky's the limit, and we work with all of our customers to provide a custom menu based on their tastes.
With a name like Ribdiculous, your specialty would be ribs. Maybe you could teach some of our viewers how to cook ribs.
On the back of the ribs, there is this membrane, but we're going to take that off. All your rub and everything is going to stick better to the meat if you get all that water off. All we're using here is just regular yellow mustard. This mustard is going to help us get a nice crust on the ribs. Charlie's going to hit it with our Anko chili rub. You can go right to your grill with them, or you can put them in the refrigerator and let this bark dry up a little bit. We've had some of these baby backs on our smoker for about 6 hours now. So I'm just gonna put my rack right here on the cold side of the grill. We're gonna take our sauce, which is great by itself, and we're gonna put it on there so it caramelizes and gives you a nice sticky rib. So we're just gonna close this top and let it go for about 5 minutes or so until that gets nice and caramelized.
So Charles, what did you make for us today?
Well, today we made a Mexican street corn. It's called elotes. All right, we grilled golden corn. We also did a vegan squash boat. It's smoke roasted acorn squash stuffed with Israeli couscous.
That's great. I love that you offer a vegan dish for guests that maybe don't necessarily eat meat. There's still some other options.
Well, it's not all about the pork. A lot of people, you'd be surprised. We also made a fresh peach salad. It's really a grilled cling peach salad. We have those with French beans. They're tossed in a bacon-infused white balsamic vinaigrette and topped with some fresh oregano. We got Rob's famous ribs. These are baby back ribs. He smoked them in pecan wood. We glazed them with our spicy sarsaparilla barbecue sauce. We did birch beer barbecue bacon baked beans. For dessert, we did a savory pear galette. We were lucky and fortunate enough that there was a pizza oven on site, so we had a little bit of a muse. We decided to do a pizza.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry.
For today's wine tasting segment, we have a special treat. We have John, the singing wine guy. Hi, John. Thanks for being with us.
I'm very excited to be here with you, Cindy.
So, John, tell me a little bit about the singing wine guy.
Well, it was a kind of a unique idea that bore from both of my parallel careers. For the past 21, 22 years, I've been a classical tenor and also a wine guy. But within the past 6, 7 years, I've been combining the two parallel careers, if you will, but I've been combining them into this really unique product called the Singing Wine Guy.
Okay, so if I were having a party as we are doing today, we're having an outdoor party, someone could hire you to come and we'll do a wine tasting and you can help educate us a little bit about the wine that we're tasting, and you'll sing along as well. It's great entertainment.
Exactly. The biggest distinction is that I don't sing my wine descriptions. There's a song that relates to the wine or the situation, but what I typically like to do is keep the information more entertainment based.
Yes.
So it's infotainment, much like what you do with your show.
Yes.
It's just enough information that no one feels like they're going to school. It's just enough information to facilitate appreciation, much like if you were in a gallery.
John, tell me a little bit about the wines that you brought to pair with our foods today.
The first wine is a lovely Rosado. The thing about rosé, it's not only pretty in the glass, it's just, if that pretty color just plays on the deck, whether it's the sunlight coming through there or the deck itself. In rosé, what you want is a little strawberry, a little raspberry. It is from red grapes. They just pull the skins out early, so you're left with this beautiful pink color. Second up is the Hang Time Chardonnay from California. But very specific on this, the key here is that it's from Central Coast, California. Okay. And right now in the United States, folks are looking for Chardonnays that aren't quite as woody. What I love about this is there is a little oakiness, but it's just enough to give you a little vanilla, just a little bit of spice. What you get here is this delicate tropical fruit, little pineapple, a little melon, and you don't get a huge hit of wood. So this is the Chardonnay for the deck, for the Pinot Grigio lover, and for someone who does like Chardonnay. It's just a little lighter than the typical Chard. And third up, I have to show you the glass because it's just so rich. And I mean, you can't see me through it. It's what a cab lover loves to see in a Cabernet. It's the Emblem Cabernet from the Michael Mondavi winery.
This was a big hit with the crowd today.
Beautiful hit. And it is classic Napa, full-bodied, rich. It plays like a $75 retail Cabernet, but it runs more like $36 to $39 retail. Phenomenal. This Cabernet is one that out of the past 3 months has just knocked my socks off. It's just round, rich, all the flavor you want from Cab with not too much tannin on the finish, but enough tannin to play with that baby back rib, the barbecued ribs. So, and again, the Chardonnay runs about $13, and the Rosé at a very good price runs about $10.
Great.
So great price points, beautiful wines.
As this party's winding down, we're going to hit the road and we're going to go to Scotch Plains for one more party out on the patio. Now, you've watched me paint today and you probably thought to yourself, I can't possibly do something like that. Well, think again. Here's another terrific party idea that I think will have you pretty amazed. So I promised you that you would be able to paint as well, and I'm keeping my promise. I'm here with Rupa, who is the owner of Bottle and Bottega, which is a franchise that she's recently just brought to this area, to the Summit area, in February of 2013. Hi, Rupa.
Hi.
Tell me a little bit about Bottle and Bottega.
So Bottle and Bottega is a national franchise that got started in Chicago in 2009. Mm-hmm. Behind Bottle and Bottega, the masterminds are Nancy Bigley and Stephanie Myers. And I bought the franchise and launched it in New Jersey in February. And the reception has been phenomenal. We provide you with all the art supplies that you need to recreate a masterpiece. Everything from brushes, paint, canvas, and we teach you how to replicate anything from Van Gogh's, Picasso. We have over 200 pieces in our gallery, including pieces like these. And in a couple hours, we can help you replicate this.
And it really doesn't take any previous training or skill or artistic talent.
No, no experience needed. If you ever drew stick figures or not, we can still help you, and we assure you that you can replicate a piece pretty close. We have several art teachers, and they're professional art teachers who teach you how to replicate the pieces. We are currently doing mobile events all throughout Central Jersey at different venues like the Stage House Tavern in Scotch Plains. We're in Morristown, in Montclair, in Westfield, in Randolph. And what I do is I partner with venues where people come in, they paint, they eat, and they drink wine, and that's what inspires them to replicate the masterpiece.
Also, you do private parties as well?
That's correct. So we do public parties where anybody can register on our calendar events on our website, but we also do private events. We can do it in your home, we can do it in your backyard. We also do corporate events. We do team building exercises for different types of corporations. We recently did a fundraiser for autism awareness. We've done a fundraiser for Relay for Life in Berkeley Heights, and it's really a fantastic opportunity because we offer them a service where people come in and paint and they can collect donations for their charity.
Tell me about the baby bump parties.
So we also do something called baby bump parties where you can paint a mural for the baby's room. We can work with you to do murals, or you can paint baby items like onesies and bibs for the mom, and then you can also paint a little painting for the guests as a take-home piece, as a gift to take home with you.
Now you also do bachelorette parties?
We do bachelorette parties where you can paint a traditional piece like this.
Yes.
Or we can provide you with a nude model.
Woohoo.
Also available for girls' night out.
Okay.
He doesn't put on a show and you can't touch him, but he is definitely very fit, and he is very good looking, and you get to, the teacher teaches you how to replicate the nude model on canvas. Bottle and Bottega is really a fantastic night out, not just with your girlfriends, with your mom, with your family. It's a great date night opportunity.
And not just for women. We have a man here.
Oh, absolutely. We have 3 men tonight. Yeah, we always have guys. The women bring them in, and then the guys have a really great time.
Yes. So if someone would like to attend one of your events, how do they find you on Facebook?
So they would go to our website. We are bottleandbottega.com/NJ Central, but they can just go to bottleandbottega.com and find our location in New Jersey. We're the only ones in New Jersey, and they see my calendar of events, and they can register for a class right on my calendar of events.
So you share which painting you'll be doing at which venue?
Absolutely. So you can see all the information that you need for that particular class, including the painting, including all what time it is, where it is, how much it costs, and what's involved in that class.
I hope you were inspired by today's episode to maybe do a little work around the outside of your own home, or to just throw a party. Guys, what'd you think of today's episode? To learn more about the featured businesses on today's episode, be sure to visit our webpage at atastefordesign.com. You also will find the links to our blogs and pins. And be sure to like us on Facebook as well.
Nella tua fredda stanza guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza.